Hello, I intend to give you a quick overview of these two modules, AC6030, Strategic Financial Management, and AC6031, Finance in Action, just as you think about selecting your modules for the 2020-2021 academic year. So I'm talking about these two modules together because they share the same content. If you're on the accounting and finance program, then you must choose one of these two modules because they are compulsory, right? Choosing one is compulsory. You have to choose either AC6030 or AC6031 to be able to graduate on the accounting and finance program. If you're on the accounting and business management program, then both modules are core, right? You don't have to choose either of the two, but you may choose them as part of your program requirements. You cannot choose both of them, by the way. So there is a restriction, as I said, because the contents are the same. So what are the contents of AC6030 and AC6031, and how do they differ? In terms of content, we adopt two perspectives when we look at finance at level 6. We adopt the corporate finance perspective, which means that we look at financial decision making from inside business organizations. So if you were part of a finance team inside an organization, what are some of the tools, the techniques, the concepts, the approaches that you would take when you come to make choices that would enhance the value of the firm? The other perspective is to take an external perspective of an analyst. And what analysts do in the financial market is to assist people who are making financial investment decisions. So we look from outside the firm and we apply the relevant tools, techniques, systems, and processes to be able to help people who are making financial management decisions, primarily investments. Right? Do I buy the share or do I sell the share? What kind of portfolio should I create? How do I maximize my returns? So you can see that both perspectives are very important. At this stage in your career, you need both. Who knows where your future plan would take you? So we kind of synthesize everything that you should know before you go out there and work either in accountancy or in finance, or sometimes even in business. If you want to go into setting up your own firm and all that, what are the financial concepts that are key to being able to manage a firm effectively? Okay, so overall, we integrate tools, techniques, concepts from the strategic perspective and finance, which is obtaining money and making good use of it. To be able to do that, we really go in depth in terms of the literature and what knowledge exists in terms of raising money, right? Where do you get money from? How do you source capital? How do the financial markets work? Can we trust financial markets? Are they efficient? Are they not efficient? Some of these concepts you may have come across in your previous studies. But we try and look at the empirical evidence on what makes the markets what they are. We also then digress a bit and begin to look at, are there ways of beating the market? That sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? If markets are efficient, if markets are perfect, then there shouldn't be any opportunities to make abnormal gains. Well, there are arguments in the literature that the markets may not be constantly efficient or perfect. So we can analyze investments, we can find undervalued investments, we can buy them cheap and find the right time to sell them. So what are the processes that people use? What are the techniques that people use? What information is available out there? And how do you go about analyzing investments, putting them together in the best way to find opportunities, seize them, and also limit the prospects of losses, right? So it's playing the risk and returns game, right? So you can see these are concepts that are important not just to people who are managing the business organizations, but also to people who are working in the markets, right? And trying to find ways of maximizing returns. And then if we look on the other side, really in terms of the hands-on day-to-day management of the firm, we have to make sure that we have the right amount of money in the right place, in the right currency, of course, in the right quantity to be able to sustain the firm. So how do we manage the working capital of the business? And because we are talking about global entities, right, foreign currency risks are quite pertinent. They are very important. How do we make sure, like I said, that we have the right currency in the right place at the right time to maintain the solvency of the organization and ensure that we're able to maximize the opportunities or take advantage of the opportunities that emerge. So that is an overview of the contents of the module. Right? It will be very, very hands-on. You can see the banner at the bottom here. We emphasize doing, right? So a lot of the things that you talk about cannot be just learned theoretically. It is usually by doing that you know. So we've designed the contents of the module in such a way that not only will you know theoretically, but you'll be able to emotionally participate in making the choices and evaluating the results so that you can consolidate your understanding. So what do you think? Is it knowing by doing, or is it doing to know? I think it's basically the same, right? But we emphasize the doing part of the module. There are a whole range of resources that are available. The trading room will play a very integral part of what you do because you need to find the data about firms. You need to organize it, process it, assess it, make decisions, and check to see what the outcomes are. There are ebooks. Every book that is recommended for this module is available in the library. Moodle will be very integral to what we do. All the resources are on Moodle. We have various Excel workbooks that will help with the computations because remember, you have to be able to do things yourself. Some of the data are available, but you never really trust other people's data. You'll have to be able to calculate or, if you like, produce your own estimates of some of the inputs that you need for your financial decision making. And then you can compare your own outputs, right? What you have calculated with what the professionals have put out there in Thomson Reuters Icon and all that. There will be times when we will have webinars online. I like catching up with you, and you'll be able to meet with me on Microsoft Teams, and we can have a conversation. You have a workbook that has all the tasks that you must be able to do well on the module. It's all there. So when we come in the seminar and in the lectures, we'll be working through this, and you'll be completing it yourself. By the time we finish the module, you will have your own version. I mean, you would have written these things down in your own words, so that when you get to revision or the assessment, it wouldn't be a problem because you've done it, and because you've done it, you'll be able to do it. See? Good. So the main difference between AC6030 and AC6031 revolves around the assessment. So the contents are the same, the learning outcomes are the same. The only difference is about the assessment. For AC6030, you have a 30% portfolio, 1,000 words maximum, and a 3-hour closed book exam. For AC6031, you have a single individual portfolio which has 3,000 words or equivalent. And you can guess the reason why there is a difference in the assessment there. If you require exemptions, I knew you had said it there. If you require exemptions, then you have to choose AC6030. Right? All the professional bodies would only exempt you when you have completed a 3-hour closed book exam from their own version of the finance exams at this level. Right? So AC6030 is recommended if you want the exemptions. If you don't want the exemptions, you can still learn finance from next year, and you have to choose AC6031. Right? The contents, as I said, are the same. The assessments are at the same level in terms of difficulty or in terms of knowledge. They are the same. The only difference is that the setting or the environment is different. I am not saying that the questions in the exam will be the same questions in the portfolio. What I'm saying is I will assess you to ensure that what you're able to do is equivalent between the modules. So problem-based learning would ensure that you will be doing everything that will be coming up in the assessment during the seminars. Okay, so we're not going to assess you on things that we haven't taught you, right? But the context will be different. Right? The storyline will be the same, the concepts will be the same. You have to be able to learn all that and then apply it in your assignment or in your exam. Okay, so we take you through all that and we make sure you're well supported. Everybody will benefit from a good knowledge of finance at this level. So accounting and finance, accounting and business, whatever university degree you're taking, if your prerequisites permit you, you would benefit from a good dose of knowledge about money and what to do with it. So typically, accounting and finance or accounting and business students are thinking about these career paths. I cannot see any of the career alternatives here that does not require a good understanding of finance. Right? You will be setting yourself really a barrier if you neglect your basic financial concepts. So as you can see on the next slide, usually students at this level start thinking, finance may not be my thing. I have had enough experience with students who probably were not convinced that finance was their thing. But as you can see here, I've got 6 recent graduates who, surprise, surprise, are all seemingly doing very well in finance-specific roles. There are a lot of opportunities out there, and you have the chance to consolidate your knowledge, be confident, and go out there and achieve. So as I said earlier on, if you want the full exemptions from ICAW, CIMA, and ACCA, then you have to choose AC6030. But otherwise, choose AC6031 if you don't want the exemptions. Go on and enjoy finance, because finance will definitely open career opportunities for you out there. So I hope this helps, and I'll be seeing you sometime soon. All the best.